The Cleveland Cavaliers have multiple areas that need addressed this offseason. We know that. They may not be able to solve all of their issues this summer, but one area they could definitely bolster is their depth at the 5. Jared Allen may have had one of the worst playoff showings in recent memory, but he is still a very valuable member of this Cavs team. When he isn't on the floor, the Cavs have generally navigated it by sliding Evan Mobley over to the 5. Now that works, but Cleveland could absolutely benefit from having at least one more viable big man available. One option that could likely be brought on for the veteran minimum or close to it is Bismack Biyombo. Biyombo, fresh off a regular season in which he averaged 4.3 points and 4.3 rebounds in just 14.3 minutes per game across 61 appearances, would be a great fit off the bench for Cleveland. He is currently part of a Phoenix Suns team that will enter the 2023-24 offseason with 9 players that could potentially hit free agency in one form or another, and that could mean some tough choices could be made. Biyombo is one of those 9 players. If Biyombo does in fact hit the open market, the Cavs may want to reach out. Here are a few reasons why. Number 1, real depth. First off, this ain't rocket science. The Cavs need an additional body at the 5. Preferably one who can not only provide a veteran presence off the bench, but can still also contribute on the court. When the 2022-23 season began, this role primarily belonged to Kevin Love, who put up 8.5 points and 6.8 rebounds in 41 appearances with the team before being benched and then eventually requesting a buyout. Dean Wade isn't a center, but was given an opportunity to fill in as a floor spacing big, but failed miserably, mostly riding the pine in the playoffs. Mamadi Diakite was on a 2-way contract and couldn't contribute on the big league level consistently because of it. And with respect to Robin Lopez, who gave the Cavs just 3 points and 1.4 rebounds per game, the Cavs basically had no playable big men beyond Allen and Mobley. Bismack Biyombo, despite being offensively limited, would at the very least be able to give the Cavs 10 to 15 minutes of impactful basketball. His addition would likely benefit Jared Allen the most. Regardless of how you felt about Allen's play against the Knicks, it was clear at points that he was wearing down due to not having a viable backup. His 38.1 minutes per game is still the highest average by any big man in the postseason, and Evan Mobley wasn't far behind. He may not have been gassed, but the high level of minutes he endured probably did not help. Cleveland had a 9-17 record without Jared Allen last season and a 7-7 record in the games he missed this year. Adding a viable backup in Biyombo could help reduce the drop-off in the event of an Allen injury and would prevent the Cavs from having to slide Evan Mobley over to the 5, which he may not be entirely ready for. Biyombo started 14 games for Phoenix this season, putting up an average of 7.4 points, 6.7 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and a very impressive 2.6 blocks. If given a solid amount of minutes, this is a man who can still be very productive. Number 2, rim protection. The Phoenix Suns boast the league's 7th best defensive rating this season, and Biyombo played a role in that. His ability to deter opposing players at the rim is probably his best attribute. Overall, he limited his defensive assignments to 46.6% from the field, spending the majority of his time defending forwards. His 1.4 blocks per game ranked 11th in the NBA, but when you look at his actual total of 88 blocks and factor in that he saw the court for just 14.3 minutes per game this season, it really puts things into perspective. I mean, no other player in the top 20 in total blocks played less than 1,000 minutes. Biyombo saw the court for 784. Jared Allen played nearly 3 times as many minutes and still finished lower at 84. Let that sink in. This postseason, Biyombo has averaged 10.1 minutes per game across 7 appearances and still averages 1.3 blocks. The guy is literally blocking a shot about every 8 minutes. He is limiting his defensive assignments to an icy 38.2%. Now, it might be a small sample size at 13 of 34, but the fact that he has been so impactful in limited time tells me that if given the time, he can produce. He isn't the quickest guy out there, but he moves well for his size. Check out this chase down block in which he already appears to be out of the play, but times his block attempt just in time to send CJ McCollum's layup off the backboard. Adding Biyombo to a Cavs team that literally just finished the 2022-23 campaign as the NBA's top rated defense would help keep them at or near the top. Number 3, rebounding. The Cleveland Cavaliers were not a great rebounding team this year. Their 41.1 boards per game ranked 25th in the league. Outside of Allen and Mobley, there are no reliable rebounders on this team. None. They cannot enter the 2023-24 campaign without more capable rebounders. Make no mistake, Biyombo is by no means an elite rebounder, but he's still a pretty good one, considering his play time. His per 36 total rebound average from this season would have ranked second to only Jared Allen. He makes the most of his minutes, and even if he played only 10 per game here in Cleveland, it would surely help tremendously. Biyombo will be entering his age 31 season, but he should still have considerable tread left on his tires, and the Cavs may be able to get him for around the veteran minimum. This type of addition is a no-brainer to me after watching how poorly Cleveland rebounded the ball this postseason. Time will tell.